Hey everyone, welcome to another Yogi Misfit sessions. I am noticeably not Danny Pomploon, but Jessica said. On this week's session, Danny's guest is Misty Moon. Misty is a practitioner and teacher of womb, WOMB yoga, which is a practice related to Egyptian yoga, also known as Kinetic Yoga. This style of yoga helps to empower women, and she and Danny discuss the ins and outs of it. This was a really fascinating episode to listen to, so I hope you enjoy it. As always, thanks to our friends at SF Yoga Magazine for their continued support, and thank you for listening in. If you like the show, please write a review on iTunes because it helps other people discover this show. And that's all I got. Enjoy session 51.
Misty Moon. Hi.
Hi. Hello, Danny.
How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you.
How's everything going?
Everything's going great. Yeah.
Yeah?
Life is good. Really busy. No complaints.
I am so excited that we finally got to connect to get you on the show, because I know we've been going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and you had something come up and I had something come up, but you're here. We are here now. So for all the listeners, I've known Misty Moon for many moons. God, I've known you for, I think I was like 25 or something like that. So I've known you for almost 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah. It's been almost 10 years. And this is before, like, I don't even think I was scratching the surface of yoga yet. Like, I think I was like deep into the bar industry, and we were all kind of doing different things. And you know, we've kind of kept in touch over the years, and we both have now collectively kind of stepped into this realm of healing and, you know, being light workers and whatever you want to call it, yogis and all that fun stuff. It's super cool to come full circle.
It's a beautiful thing. It really is, you know, and to be able to be able to witness each other's journeys from afar, you know, from where we began to where we are now.
Oh my God, that's the best part. Yeah. It's I mean, there's nothing more. I mean, it's great to see yourself thrive, but also like when you see your people come up, you're just, for me, I always, I talk about this in teacher training all the time, but like, you don't lift yourself up. You don't go higher when you lift yourself up. You come higher when you lift others up, you know, like that's really where the magic starts to happen. So, I mean, let's get all emotional. And I'm just going to say, I am very proud of you. And I'm so happy for you. I'm not crying. You're crying.
Yeah, Danny, I just have to say quickly that it was such a treat to be able to start off 2018 with your yoga workshop that Jason, my husband, and I came to. It really just really set the pace for this year, and to be able, to me, that was like the ultimate kind of like, I don't know, it's like validation, but it was like just to be able to see you shine. It was so emotional. Like I was just crying the entire yoga practice, because it was like you had made it. You know, you really went through this whole metamorphosis process of where you were 10 years ago, and just seeing you like guide such a beautiful, powerful practice and helping us all set the stage for this year. So I want to thank you again for holding that space for us, for all of us yogis.
Thank you. It's, I mean, you know very well my story and you know everything, and it's just been. It's every time I get to go into that space and offer anything, it's very humbling, and there's just so much gratitude. Like, you know, I'm glad that, that it turned out the way that it did, and that I get to do what I got to do. So thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yes.
So we're just going to continue the show talking about how much we love each other on today's episode. But let's actually, so I have a ton of questions for you, because I've never heard about this womb yoga stuff until we started talking about it, and you were explaining it to me. You were doing the training, and you're kind of in the thick of it. And I know you were getting ready to start your business of supporting women, which I am obviously a huge fan about. Like, more of that, please. Let womb yoga. Tell me all about it.
Yeah, so the type of womb yoga that I've been trained in, I've actually took two different trainings, but they both have their roots in Kinetic Yoga, which is also known as Egyptian yoga. So it's an ancient African practice, and it reflects that through the name of the poses. So the Ma'at womb yoga is the training that I actually teach. And Ma'at is the Egyptian goddess of balance, of order, and law. And she's known as having the 42 virtues, or like 42 laws of Ma'at. So ancient Kemet, or ancient Egypt, their entire civilization was built around the 42 laws of Ma'at. So for any of those who are familiar with the Christian Bible, which has the 10 Commandments, that was inspired from the 42 laws of Ma'at. So the entire practice is about embodying these virtues, which is balance and order, righteousness. So we integrate affirmations with the poses. And each pose that we do it 7 times. Like, we do a lot of repetition. We say the affirmation 7 times in reflection of the 42 laws. There's also some numerology in there as well. And it's womb yoga because the poses that we do, it's a lot of we start off with doing like some Kegel, strengthening. It's a lot of opening the groin area, a lot of hip, strengthening. And I can say from my own experience, even when I did the training and the other women, it was really interesting that we all of our, this happens with women anyway, when you're in a group together where your menstrual cycles kind of synchronize with each other.
Sure.
But that happened even more intensely with us in our practice. And I've been healing fibroids. And I've noticed since I've been doing this practice that there's been a shift with my fibroids as well. So in the way that I look at during the affirmations, just kind of get a little like metaphysical here a little bit.
Sure.
So there's a scientist named Dr. Emoto who passed away some years ago. He did what's called the water experiment, where he had 2 jars of water. One jar, he held it in his hand and thought positive things, like, I love you, you're beautiful. The second jar of water, he thought negative things, like, you're ugly, I hate you. And then he froze them. Then he took the frozen water and looked at them underneath the microscope. And you can see the difference on a molecular level with each water. So with the positive ones, they were perfect like geometrical shapes with the molecules. And the negative one, the jar with the negative thoughts had like distorted black molecules. So to me, that indicates that the things we say, and if we're 75% water, the things we say does shift our body on a molecular level. So if you're seeing the affirmations while you're doing these yoga poses, it's just powerful medicine.
That's funny because someone else actually was just telling me about that experiment, like in recent conversation over the last like couple weeks. So I know that for me, I do a gratitude journal every day, and I have I think I've talked about this on the show before, but I have a little like mantra that I do. But to hear someone else like, actually, I think affirmations are powerful. I think one, if it's not even just like, well, sound is vibrational, right? And like you just said, like, and we are vibrational beings, and we're built out of water, so you can definitely can change that. But also, there is this other study, and I don't know what it is or what it's called or whatever. There, you can actually now, there's scientific tools where you can measure a thought. They put like some sort of like whatever thing, like a receiving rod or whatever, into like I think it was like a pudding or some sort of like gelatin. And when they registered the brain or the mind, like with love or whatever, it actually changed like the structure of it or something like that. They were able to measure it. So I think that it has a powerful change just in your being, like as a person, like having a good thought in your mind. But 2, to also have the proof in the pudding as well is like, that just makes it that much sweeter,
Yeah, for sure.
So you guys do the affirmations, you guys do the different movements, and then how does it continue, or what is the process? I guess, what is the process and the expectation like towards the end of it? Not the goal, but like what is like the receiving end?
Having a connection to, so in yoga, we have the mind-body connection, right?
Sure,
So with womb yoga, it's even more specific, where it's having that mind-body connection to your womb, to your uterus. Like we actually have what's called the ancestral pyramid, where we put our hands out like a pyramid, we invert it and put it on our bellies. So the thumbs are underneath the navel. The left hand is actually resting on the left ovary. the right hand is resting on the right ovary, and your uterus is right in the middle of that pyramid. So we're doing that often during the practice. So it's just this connection. And then we also use visualization. And as some of us know, or as yogis know, we have the chakra points, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the second chakra is the Hara chakra. That's the sexual center. That's where the uterus is. And even for the men, that's where, the male reproductive organs are. And so we're connecting to that. We're using visualization. And this is the thing about the energetic part of the womb. The uterus is not just a place where we birth our babies, but it's where we birth our ideas and our visions and our goals. And if that's imbalanced through fibroids, through cysts, through ovarian cancer, or even through toxic relationships and toxic foods, we can't manifest. We can't move forward. So I guess that's the end goal. But as far as like at the end of each individual practice, it's just having a deeper connection and awareness of your womb and what your womb is capable of. Because women, we don't even we're just go, 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 go. We don't, especially women, we're constantly holding space for our family, for the world. And so we often forget to put ourselves first. And so this womb yoga practice is just a way to practice self-care for ourselves.
And is it something?
Does it answer the question, Danny?
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. Is it like would you say it's like any other yoga practice, like a hatha practice or vinyasa practice where you can practice every day? Or is it, is there home practice?
Absolutely.
Is there different, is there set sequences or?
There is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like Bikram yoga in that sense, where it's the same sequence every single time, the same affirmations every single time. And it's more of a restorative practice. It's very, very gentle. Anyone at any level can practice this, but it's just really, so with the repetition, seeing the affirmations, if you can practice this every day, like when I did, before I was to complete my training, I had to do this 42 days in a row before I could even teach it. And I can tell you that was so empowering for me, because that's when I really started to feel the shift with my uterus. Like I mentioned, like I'm dealing with fibroids. That's when the shifts really started to happen. And there's even like one particular pose where it's kind of like the cobra pose, where you're holding it, while you're saying these affirmations 7 times. And so you even get some tonation in your arms as well. So it does strengthen the entire body. So even though it's restorative, it does push you just enough to take you to that next level.
What was your experience? Actually, let's talk about that. What was your experience like from day 1 to day 42?
Yeah, it was like my own metamorphosis process going through those 42 days. From day 1, by the time I got to the 42 day of doing this practice, I just felt such a deep connection to the trauma in my womb, and being able to I'm just getting emotional just thinking about it.
Totally.
Being able to connect to just thinking about things that happened in my past that I had completely forgot about. That toxic relationship, that abusive relationship that I was in. All the things that I did to numb myself out, whether it was through recreational drugs or emotional eating, because you're also journaling as well during those 42 days. And as you know, when you journal, it just takes you even deeper, because you're able to kind of see the thought process through the writing, or the emotional process through the writing.
Yeah.
So it just gave me an opportunity to really deal and face issues that I kept putting under the rug, and to accept it, embrace it, and to be able to finally let it go. So yeah, that's the first thing that comes to mind when I think about that process for myself.
What have you seen in the women that have started this this practice with you, and like what kind of shifts and changes have you seen in them? Maybe, but on both accounts, physically and emotionally, mentally, like this spiritually, like what have you seen? Like we're yoga teachers, right? And so like we're supposed to say that yoga is good for you. I guess we're supposed to walk around and say that, but when your students and stuff, they say like, hey, this changes, or this X, Y, and Z has happened. Like what do you see from your students, and two, what's the kind of feedback that you get as well?
The kind of feedback that I get is, I haven't really received like this profound aha, just more of just because most women that do come to these womb yoga classes, they've never done yoga before, ever. which is why they're attracted to it, because they understand that it's really gentle. And so for them, it's just simply having awareness to their bodies, having awareness that, oh my God, this womb is not just this, my uterus is not just something that I experience, every 28 days when I have my menstrual cycle, but it has its own psychology to it. It has emotions, it has a past. So just having that connection is what it seems to be the census with the women that comes to experience this womb yoga.
So if
I have yet to experience someone that would, and again, and also keep in mind that the women that has taken my class, it's not like they're coming consistently. So because it's like before you can really experience a deep, profound shift, you have to do this practice consistently, like anything.
Right.
So, yeah,
right. You can't, it's not just it's not just like the quick fix, like the 10-minute and your body's changed forever.
Right. Yeah.
Everyone's looking for the quick fix. There's the 5-day diet or the 7-day beach abs, or I don't know, like even the 2-minute mindful, you'll be Shakti in a matter of moments kind of deal. But like,
don't believe the hype.
Dude, I mean, if you're buying that stuff, like, I'm glad you like burning your money, but like the truth is you got to put the work in. And especially with something like yoga, or something as, as powerful as like womb yoga, where you're like you were just sharing, you're going into your traumas, into, deeper areas. Like, you are consistently doing the work, really. We're doing these things to get us into ourselves and to, let go, like you just said, the distractions. And the yoga isn't about the poses that you're doing. It's what comes up, like when you're starting to feel the anger, or the comparisons, or whatever it is. That's where it begins. That's really where it starts. When you start to get uncomfortable in yoga, it just started.
Yeah. It's mission accomplished. Yeah, it's function versus form. And that's something that I learned with my Vini yoga training. That oftentimes when people get injured when they go to a yoga class, because they're trying to emulate what the teacher's doing, as opposed to honoring the evolution of where their body is. And when you can really sink that in when you're going into yoga class, it'll be a completely different experience.
Oh, 100%. I mean, it's easy. And I talk a lot about this just in general. Like, there's just so much pressure, and there's a lot of, social media, and, even myself, I have to keep up with the times, and, there's a lot of things that I love to do in my body, but still, like, are they the smartest and the best at that moment? Yes. And then no, I think it's recognizing where you're at, and what you need to, being really, really, really in tune with that. Random and fun question. Have you ever had a guy try to come to womb class not knowing?
Well, no, but I did have, so last year I participated in a workshop where it was various practitioners, and I offered womb yoga, and he was great. He was actually one of the practitioners that offered sound healing, and he's really in touch with his feminine side. So it didn't surprise me that he joined in. And he did it like a champ. He was great, and it was not uncomfortable at all.
Oh, that's super cool. So there are womb male practitioners or teachers, or?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
There are like male teachers of this?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, he was a sound healer. So it was an event where they had practitioners from different angles. So I brought womb yoga. He brought in sound healing. Another woman brought in theta healing. And so since he was there, offering his service, he just decided to jump in my womb yoga class.
That is super cool. Good for him.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, he's great. Like I said, he's really very much in tune with his feminine side. So it did not seem inappropriate at all.
Nice. And in addition to the womb yoga, you're doing all sorts of other stuff to help support women as well. Yeah.
So what I do, like the pinnacle of what I do, is I do health coaching for women, and I integrate the yoga to get that physical aspect in it. And then we also focus on like meal planning and diet. But the centerpiece of what I do is helping women to eradicate negative self-thought, because that's really where it all stems from. So, if I have a client, for an example, that's trying to lose weight, I can keep telling her, eat salads, drink a green juice, have a smoothie. But in her mindset, she has a programming from her upbringing, from society, that she's not good enough. She's not worthy. She doesn't deserve to be loved. And because of that programming, she's numbing out with the processed food, with the sugar. So we finally have, I have a 6-month program, and she's great. She's finally gotten to a point where she's making that connection with her negative thought. So what I do is offer her positive thoughts. And it's kind of like, it is like affirmations, but there's a certain way to go about affirmations. We can't just go from a super negative to a super positive. Like, for an example, if you look at yourself in your mirror and all you can see is how fat you are, you can't go from I love my body to, I hate my body to I love my body. So what you do is start off with a neutral. So you start off with I hate my body to I have a body. If you can just start to, reprogram your thought process to just acknowledge you have a body, then you can go to the positive. So this is an example of what I do. And then like I said, I integrate the meal planning, and I have a newsletter that comes out every other week it comes out on the new moon and full moon. So I integrate like new full moon self-care practices, and I have a video every new moon and full moon that I do, where it's a live demo of a vegan recipe. So just trying to encourage women, giving them more ideas of how to integrate healthy diet into their life. So it's very, very incapacitating what I do.
Nice. Awesome. Misty, I can't thank you enough for coming onto the show and sharing this cool, I was so excited to talk about like a new yoga practice, because I've never, I've heard about a lot of things that come up or whatever, but that's like, this is super cool. And I think, obviously we can get into a whole nother conversation, but lots of women's things needs to happen right now, especially for women.
Yes. It's happening. It's happening. There is there's a renaissance that's taking place.
And I'm glad that you're offering like yet another safe space for women to go to, and
yes.
It's just more of that. Another colleague and I were having a conversation. I was inspired by another yoga teacher who was doing a women's retreat, and I was like, you know what? I want to do something as well for my community, and so we're doing a queer retreat for people that are queer and that want to have a safe space to practice, and just giving those people that are kind of being pushed, which is kind of weird. We're going backwards a little bit, but giving more people a safe space to be in, to be okay, and to be in their bodies and their minds and community. So thank you for offering what you offer. I will make sure that people can link up with you in the show notes. And I think, is there anything else you want to say before we take off?
No, I just love you, Danny, and I appreciate what you're doing. And you give us underdogs permission to be underdogs.
I'm right there. I'm still an underdog. Yeah. I'm right there with you. The struggle and the hustle is real, dude. It
really is. Yeah, for real. But thank you for giving me this opportunity to share what I do.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, let's just continue evolving.
I love it. Until the next Yogi Misfit session, this is Danny and Misty Moon saying peace out.
Peace and love.